And that kind of gets into like our first main topic of the day is, you know, Prism Blasters just came out, I think, this past weekend. So a lot of people are like on Fanatics and Panini going after those online. And, you know, some people are even finding some fat packs in Target and things like that already in retail. So I think it's just interesting to see that now there's even more Prism coming out.
Correct.
There's still more sets coming out that I think people are going right over their heads.
Correct.
Still, you know, like Optic, Contenders Optic, Select, like there's still a lot of stuff that's coming out. Prism basketball, National Treasures basketball. I mean, the list goes on. So with all these sets coming out and all these things coming out, I think that some people haven't noticed that you and other people in the hobby have been choosing breaks and wax and cases, it seems, over pursuing a lot of these big singles. We're seeing these singles get flooded onto the market. You know, there's so many different variations, especially of Prism out there and stuff. I kind of just wanted to pick your brain on this and, you know, give collectors an educational moment here. Why do you, especially at this time right now with so many sets and so much product out there, choose to, you know, purchase an entire case of a product or,
versus another?
You know, or, I mean, maybe buying into a break of a product that you like, as opposed to pursuing the singles of those cards, you know, on whatever marketplace you so choose.
Right. So I look at this kind of side of things as I'm going to, you know, it's all about the entry cost, the cost per card, the cost per grading. You know what I mean? It's all about, it's a margins game. And so what I like to do is typically I will wait at least a week after a product comes out, just for the general.
So that's the first move, is you kind of wait a week just to get an idea of what's even in the product.
I like to see a little bit of the product before I spend my money, whether it's a few singles.
You're not a
I
first
watch
off the line
somebody
kind of
rip
guy?
the box. Not necessarily. I'm not going to say I'm against it. It would, you know, it's, again, certain products absolutely, certain products absolutely not.
Cool.
And the way that I see that is just, again, a lot goes into that, right? So I've been busting a lot of Crown Royal basketball for this upcoming NBA class. Personally, I think the value there for the cost of a box and the cost of a sealed case is very good, even after the cost of grading for what the value you can expect in a box, right? So the way that I treated that is I went to my LCS a couple of weeks ago and I opened one box, okay? I got lucky. I did very well. I pulled a Stephen Curry Kaboom. It got a 9.5 from Beckett.
Huge pull.
Right. So I'm into the, you know, it's a $4,000 card. I'm into it for $650 after grading. At that point, I realized, okay, I've got, you know, $3,000 in, we'll call it house money, to then keep turning. And this is, again, going back to, this is stuff that I have a plan to flip at either the National. I had, you know, maybe some of the high-end stuff at the National.
Right, that Steph Curry Kaboom is not a PC. That's, you plan on flipping that.
I turned it. Yep. Right. You know, I already moved it.
Okay,
so
cool.
It's one of those things where, you know, that card to me was just a flip, a true flip. You know what I mean? I love Steph Curry. I don't care to hold non-rookie, non-autograph, you know, 7th or 8th year Steph Curry stuff. So, you know, from
especially in the middle of the
point,
finals right now, like that's the time to get rid of that card.
Exactly. He's hot. He's in the finals. Like, I can move it at a premium, so I did that. On the flip side of that, I took that house money and put it back into Crown Royal. Basically, and that goes back to, after I saw one box, saw what comes in it. You're guaranteed a numbered rookie. You're guaranteed an autograph, at least one. A patch card with memorabilia, some of them game used, others rookies. I kind of looked at the configuration of the box and said, okay, here's my entry cost at $450 or $500 a box. I'm going to, you know, the hits that are coming out of this product are worth buying to grade. You know what I mean? They're
right.
You know, the rookie cards.
You're actually taking a look at where those single prices are selling at. Correct. As well, and you're seeing, you know, where the discrepancy is in between raw and graded as well, and those types of things, and how well the rookies are selling, how well the numbers are selling. So you're keeping an eye on those things as you're continuing to buy more of that product.
Absolutely. And the reason that I've continued to buy sealed product is because I believe in the class, and that's a little more year to year. You know, so
And that's something you and Brad have kind of dove into a little bit in regards to football. But this, this basketball class, this 2021 class in particular, that's Cade Cunningham, Evan Mobley, Scotty Barnes, all those guys, for anybody who doesn't know that. Like,
right.
You just are really a big fan of those guys in that class.
Correct. And so I believe my money is best spent. So we'll just say, $7,500 is what I have into Crown Royal boxes of wax. You know what I mean? That I have ripped and opened and pulled and, started to grade and move. My interpretation of that product versus the other products that are going to come out for this draft class, including, same class, different products. Prism. We just saw it with football. Prices were sky high out of the gate. I think a lot of people will be priced out of Prism wax and therefore singles because of the strength of the class down the line.
Gotcha.
So what I've decided to do is, because I love this class, instead of going and spending $7,500 on Cade Cunningham, Scotty Barnes, one or two players that I like, I'm going to buy the product that I can then have, bulk inventory of for better.
And just from more of a sports fan side of things,
Sure.
this, you're not exactly sure which, this is just this past class. You're not really sure
Absolutely.
which of those guys is honestly going to hit at this point too.
Correct.
And you can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure you like some of these guys in this class more than others.
100%.
But that is a risk to, even if it's Cade, the number one overall pick, to go all in on just him. That's a big risk, as opposed to spreading that out again over those multiple rookies, multiple guys who don't just have potential, but I think you could arguably say that they all have about an equal amount of potential to kind of be the best player in the class right now.
I absolutely agree. And I would say, looking back at last year's class, so we'll just take Crown Royal, for example. Last year's draft class, to make the cost back on your box,
had to hit LaMelo.
Just from rookies. It was going to be LaMelo, Anthony Edwards,
yeah.
Maybe Tyrese Halliburton at the end of the year, but that was it. Okay, I can rattle off 10 or 12 guys from this draft class that may not be superstars now, may not even have superstar potential, will be good NBA players. This is a deep draft class, and this is something that Brad had compared stocks and mutual funds to in a previous episode.
Right.
If I had have taken $7,500, like you said, and put it into Cade Cunningham, well, then all of my marbles, right, are in Cade Cunningham basket, right? And so rather than doing that, which would be if Cade Cunningham was an individual stock, we'll say Apple.
Yeah.
That would be like buying Apple stock, right? Instead of that, I can buy into the S&P 500, right, in a mutual fund and get a bunch of those blue chip stocks, right, which would be the Cade Cunningham, Evan Mobley, Scotty Barnes, Josh Giddey, the good players from this upcoming draft class. Before, and this has a lot to do with the supply chain and the timing of the season stuff too, these products are coming out before they're really making their second year jump, right? They've had enough time to play one season. I've seen a little bit of what they have. I feel comfortable enough now to make that investment in one or two guys or the class overall.
Gotcha.
If that makes sense.
It's a lot of really good points. So, and honestly, a lot of it kind of boils down to return on investment.
100% and cash flow.
And I think that one other thing that I don't think you mentioned specifically, but another benefit to buying fresh product or buying into a break as opposed to pursuing singles as well. And this is something that I think about a lot is the condition of the card. How many times has that particular card, how many hands has it gone through? Where has it been? When you see a picture of a card on eBay or anywhere else, you have no idea how many people have honestly touched that card, messed with that card or anything. Point. Whereas when you buy into a break or you buy a fresh box, that card is going especially if it's a good, a well reputable, breaker, that card's going straight into a sleeve, straight into a top loader. And if it's a big hit, probably a one touch,
right.
It's,
they're more familiar with the handling.
You know exactly who the card has been handled by and how it's been handled, and you know that you're getting it at its highest condition or highest quality possible, as opposed to buying a random single on a random marketplace.
I agree with that. So as far as if the product is widely available, I would always want to rip it myself and kind of be in control of that. Like you said, I don't want the fewest amount of people, the fewest hands on the card.
Yeah, because even with breaks, like you still got to get the card shipped to you, and that's a whole nother story.
100%.
So
shipping, yeah, I want to take shipping out of the equation. Something that I also like to do is, I guess, is sort as I'm ripping, right? And so I know as I'm pulling out, hey, I've kind of got an idea of, hey, I've got, 20 cards that are worth grading. Here's what I'm going to do with the rookies. Here's what I'm going to do with everything else. Kind of break it up that way. And that way I don't have just like a giant stack of cards lying around. Something that really is frustrating though, both from the grading perspective, the grader perspective, and just a collector, somebody who rips wax, buying singles, is when you see the pack fresh or it's a brand new product, right?
Yeah.
And it comes back, you send it out for grading, it comes back like a 7 or an 8. You still got to review your cards, guys. Pack fresh is technically an 8. Near mint is factory standard. And so that, to get a gem and or a mint condition card is truly the outlier. Right. And I think that's lost on people in the grading space. But yeah, so when I'm buying a widely available product that I can, rip rip myself, I'm absolutely going to do that rather than have somebody break it or buy singles for the condition standpoint if I'm planning on grading that product out.
All really good stuff. I think that this is just something that people should know about right now because, guys, there's a lot of product out there. Whether you're going to your LCS or, retail, I think is finally starting to kind of become more available to people again.
Yep.
I think it's important to know that, these the reasons why you see, maybe some of your favorite influencers or people, they buy into breaks or they like to rip instead of going after singles and a bunch of mail day orders and things like that. And, some people – everybody's got their preference, you know what I mean? But I just think with so much product out there, people should know, hey, what do you want? Do you want to have fun? Do you want a return on investment? Do you want to make money? Do you want good condition cards? You gotta know the best way to handle that.
Absolutely, and there's good ways to do it all. I would say there's not a right way or a wrong way. Oftentimes, if a product is drying up, if you can't get a locally available case in time or something like that, I'm happy to have somebody break it on a live stream and ship it to me. You know what I mean? That way I know what's coming. I can still get the product that I want. I think breaking is great for cards. I think it's hurt the wax prices for sealed wax as breakers kind of control the allocation in the market. However, I think from a singles perspective, breaks have helped put so many more cards into the market. Cards that would still be in boxes, grails that would still be in boxes for years, that may never surface. You know what I mean? Things like that. I think the breaking and kind of splitting it up, breaking it down, however you need to do it, has really been beneficial.